Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Mr. G back with you once again on this Tuesday afternoon with the weather forecast for you guys. I hope you guys are having a great day out there. And before we get started with things, I gotta let you know that if you are checking us out today on TikTok or YouTube, you can subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, likes, whatever. TikTok, you can leave a follow on the page there, and also comments and likes and all that kind of stuff is welcome. You know what to do, and we're gonna jump in it so I can show you what I know what to do and give that weather forecast for you guys, because we got to talk about some severe weather today. Again, a lot of severe weather. We're gonna see some tornadoes out there across the same places that got hit hard this weekend. You guys are going to be under the gun again this week for more of that severe weather. So as we look at our first map, we're going to be looking at what's going on as far as the upper level pattern is concerned that's driving this engine that's producing all of this severe weather. And we have an area of low pressure coming out of the Northern Rockies with a very strong jet stream behind it, and that jet stream has a deep trough over the west. There's a big high amplitude ridge over the central Pacific, and that leads to a trough over the western U.S. and a ridge over the eastern U.S. But along the boundary of that ridge between the colder air in Canada and the warmer air coming from the Gulf of Mexico, we have a boundary right about here, and low areas of low pressure are repeatedly developing here in the base of this trough and ejecting out of the southern Rockies into the high plains. And that's going to be keeping the severe thunderstorms in play as we head through the middle part of the week and toward the weekend. So we're going to see that upper level energy. Lots of moisture coming up off of the Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to see lots of that moisture, warmer air as well. So we're going to see conditions warming out over the eastern U.S. up into the Great Lakes. We're going to start to see some 80s out here. Some folks are going to see their first 90-degree temperatures of the year, but we're going to see colder weather behind this cold front here in these areas of low pressure. We got one low up over the Great Lakes in Ontario, Canada, and another low here across the western plains of Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma, and Kansas. So we have that severe weather threat over this region, but we're going to see a lot of rain up there across the northern tier. We're going to see some thunderstorms too, but not quite the severe weather threat over that region. So your precipitation forecast, we have those thunderstorms that we're going to be seeing here across the Midwest, the plains. So we're going to see this line of thunderstorms that's going to develop over eastern Kansas and central Oklahoma, from North Texas through central Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, parts of northwestern Missouri, through central Iowa, up into Minnesota as well. So we're going to see those thunderstorms about 7 o'clock this evening. So we're going to see thunderstorms here in the Twin Cities, and those thunderstorms are going to extend southward into Oklahoma and Texas. But I don't think that we're going to see quite the amount of severe weather up here in the northern tier as you will further south. But we will see some thunderstorms. Some of those storms will be severe. I think the biggest threats here in the upper Midwest is going to be heavy rainfall and damaging winds, but I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about tornadoes yet here in Minnesota, but you will be dealing with tornadoes down further to the south, Wichita, Kansas City, Omaha, Cedar Rapids, places south down that way. We'll be dealing with the potential for large hail and tornadoes. So we're going to see that thunderstorm threat out there today. So this is what we're going to see, those thunderstorms. We have that area of low pressure there across the upper Midwest. Right around the Minnesota and Iowa border, we're going to see that low pressure. We have our cold front down here extending across the plains with a dry line here across Oklahoma and Texas. So we'll see isolated severe storms in those regions, but we'll see more of the concentrated, organized storms here across parts of the Mississippi River Valley up here across the upper Midwest. And then for Wednesday, much more of the same. Things are not going to move, progress forward eastward much as we head into Wednesday. More severe weather here across Nebraska and Kansas, Oklahoma and North Texas, dry line, and we have that low pressure center that's actually going to be dropping toward the south and the southeast. So eventually we're going to see some of this severe weather over Louisiana and Arkansas again. So for Thursday, we're going to see a lot of heavy rain and thunderstorms from Minnesota and Wisconsin, southern Canada, all the way down into the Plain States. So through Kansas and Oklahoma, we have a cold front here, and that cold front extends up to Minnesota, where we have a secondary low pressure center up here, and that's going to make for a lot of severe weather and very heavy rainfall, especially as this begins to tap into that moisture coming up off of the Gulf of Mexico. So the warmth and the moisture is going to be coming in, and we have colder air back behind all of this coming down out of Canada, and that colder air is going to interact with this warm moisture along this cold front, and we're going to see another outbreak for severe thunderstorms again as we head to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So Friday, the severe weather threat shifts to the south, and we're going to see those severe thunderstorms break out across Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and southeastern Texas. We're going to see those organized severe, and we're going to be looking for tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail again, and heavy rainfall, several inches of rain. That rain is going to extend all the way up to Minnesota, Wisconsin, and across the Canadian border into Ontario, and we're going to see heavy rainfall and thunderstorms. But the more dangerous severe weather is going to be confined down here to the Gulf Coast areas. So we've seen a lot of severe weather here over the last week or so. Between the 26th and the 28th, there was 55 tornadoes. Yes, there are 55 tornadoes in this region from Texas all the way up to Nebraska. 55 tornadoes, some very large tornadoes, quite a few large tornadoes, EF3s, some EF4s, and I think there may have been one or two EF5s. EF5s are actually very, very rare. The Joplin earthquake, yeah, right. The Joplin tornado in 2014 was EF5. The one in Tuscaloosa was an EF5. So EF5s are very rare, actually. So here is that severe weather threat today. Again, another look at it with the overlay of the storms that we've already seen over the weekend, last weekend, and we've had numerous tornadoes across Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and even into Missouri. So numerous tornadoes. Those same places that saw those tornadoes are going to see those tornadoes again this week. Again, more tornadoes and severe weather, and we're going to see for your Wednesday tomorrow, lots of severe thunderstorms across Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas, and Nebraska again. And then here's the severe weather threat for the big view on Wednesday. Severe weather from Iowa all the way down to the Mexican border. We're going to definitely see a 3 and 5 shot, so more of an outbreak. A particularly dangerous situation here is going to take place across central Kansas. See, again, here's a better look at what we're going to see today, where we're going to see our Category 3 threat. Our biggest threat for today is going to be Iowa, northwestern Missouri, southeastern Nebraska, and northeastern Kansas. So Topeka, Kansas City, Omaha, Lincoln, Bethany, Des Moines, those areas is going to have the greatest risk for today today for tornadoes and damaging winds and large hail. 2+ inch diameter hail or larger is the greatest risk right here. Again, we'll see those severe. Oh, we're going backwards here. Let's go forward. All right, there we go. All right, and Wednesday and Thursday, Tuesday. What's going on here? Am I going backwards? I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm confused. Okay, so here we are. Here is our tornado threat for today across the plains. So western half of Iowa, southern Minnesota, Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota, northeastern East Central Kansas, northwestern Missouri is where we have a Category 3 tornado threat today. So at least a 3 out of 5 potential. So that means that we could see some EF2 tornadoes or bigger in this region right here. And here is our potential for hail, and this is going to be egg-size hail, 2 inches or bigger here in the darker color. The lighter color, we're going to see quarter-size hail, so 1 inch or bigger in diameter. Again, damaging winds from the non-tornadic thunderstorms, the downdrafts and microbursts down across the Midwest today. We're going to see some winds 75 plus miles per hour gusts, and some of folks you're going to see at least 60 mile per hour winds today. And we got a lot of heavy rain as well. We're going to see some areas picking up on average 2 to 3 inches of rain across the Midwest today through Friday. And we're going to see that heavy rain again Thursday. And again on Friday, that heavy rain will shift a bit to the east on Friday into the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley. So from southern Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas is where we're going to see the most rainfall on Friday. And we're going to see those dew points. Those dew points are here in the 60s around Kansas City, 55 degrees in St. Louis. Wichita has a dew point around 64. So that means there's a lot of moisture in the low levels of the atmosphere. When those dew points get over 60, that's when it begins to feel a little bit uncomfortable, starts to feel a little bit sticky, feels heavy on your shoulder. That's when we start to see that, when the dew points hit about 55 to 60 degrees. So here's the Cape Convective app. This is the convection available potential energy. So this is the thunderstorm juice in the atmosphere. So we have a lot of Cape down across Kansas. The high, we have Cape all the way up into Minnesota, but the highest Cape is down here. So that's the most unstable area down near Kansas City and Wichita. Across southern Kansas is where the most unstable area is. And here is to look at the wind shear. The wind shear is those winds that cross each other. We have southwesterly winds running into southeasterly winds at another. These are winds changing direction with altitude. That windshield, this is what gets that spin going, or helicity in the atmosphere, so we can see tornadoes. So we have that going on, a lot of wind shear in this region, right in here along the cold front there. Okay, so that's going to do it for today's weather forecast. I don't know about my camera. I can't really tell if it's blurry or not. I think it's kind of borderline right now. So, but anyway, thank you for watching. Leave your likes, comments, subscribe to me on YouTube or TikTok. And I will see you guys all tomorrow evening. Bye-bye.